Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Cub, and today we are taking a look at Minecraft 1.18 Experimental Snapshot number 7. This snapshot has a couple of minor terrain tweaks, as well as a pretty significant change to Elytra, which we are going to investigate today. So the change to Elytra is this. Rocket boosting is now significantly slower than it was previously. So you can see even if I spam rockets, I'm really not going that much faster, but it's also true now that if I go ahead and switch to survival game mode, like this, you'll see if I just glide, the Elytra does not take any damage whatsoever. It's only when I boost with the rocket that I take damage on the Elytra. And you take 3 damage on the Elytra per rocket boosted, regardless of what level the rocket is. Whether it's flight duration 1, 2, or 3, you always take 3 points of durability, as you can see right here. So those are some of the changes there. The gliding speed is unchanged though, so you can still get going pretty quickly. Although I found that this is actually makes it quite a bit easier to like maneuver around things. Like if I wanted to fly around this tree, it's pretty straightforward to do something like that. So I think this actually makes it a little bit easier to maneuver. So I want to compare the Elytra in this experimental snapshot with the Elytra from 1.17. And to do that, we're going to use a single stack of fireworks rockets at flight duration 1. So we're going to basically expend all these rockets and see how far we can get with the Elytra, both in this snapshot and in 1.17. So to do this, we're basically going to open up F3 menu. There we go. And we're going to fly to the north as far as we possibly can in a straight line. And I'll basically record how long it takes and how far we go. So let's go ahead and do this right here. We're going to make sure and switch to survival game mode. And let's begin. So we're going to take off here. And we're going to try and just fly like a normal flight path. Like we're not going to get too crazy high or too crazy low. We're also not going to do the 40-40 trick. 40-40 trick. We're just going to go along at sort of a normal pace, I would say. So something like this seems like a good pace. You can see, yeah, we are taking Elytra durability here. But we're going to try and maintain like, 10, 15 blocks off the ground or so. We'll record how long it takes and how far we go in that time. And yeah, hopefully we can get some interesting results from that. I'm going to actually throw out this Elytra because we're not going to need it. But yeah, I'll just fly along here, do the exact same thing in 1.17.1, and we'll see what the results are like. Alright guys, so we're now approaching the final bit of the flight for the 1.18 experimental snapshot. I've kept it mostly within about 20-30 blocks from this sort of straight line path, and as you can see here, we're not really being too overly cautious with rockets. We're actually like pretty far above the ground here. Yeah. This is actually terrain that's being generated for the first time, which is why it's just sort of like popping in front of me. But in already generated terrain, the flight is pretty smooth, and the terrain isn't, like, you're not outpacing the terrain that much. So we got one more rocket to go here. And we just hope we don't crash into like a mountain or something. See, we're at -4, when we're supposed to be at like 0, roughly. Okay, we got a Mega Taiga here. Okay, I'm going to boost up one more time. And we shall see how we go. Going to go a little bit more to the left. Here the terrain is definitely not generated yet, so you can see. Yeah, things are not really loading that well. There we go, there's the world down there. Very good. Alright, so let's see how far we can make it. I'll probably make it to at least 22,500 here. If not even far beyond that. We'll see, though. Looks like we may be coming to like a river or an ocean or something here. Potentially. Yeah, so let's see if we can make it to here. Alright, there we go. So we're at negative 22,719. Alright, so that's how far we made it in 1.18. You can see the durability on our Elytra. We still have more than half the durability left, believe it or not, despite traveling 22,700 blocks on one stack of rockets. So, yeah, with that info acquired, let's now head over to 117, see what it's like there. So in 117, you'll see the gliding speed that we can achieve here is still the same as in the experimental snapshot, but when we boost with the rocket, see we get this extra bit of speed and we can now move quite quickly. And that is what has been nerfed with the Elytra in 118, but the durability of the Elytra has been buffed. So you'll see here, just by flying, even when I'm gliding, I take significant durability damage. So much so that, yeah, it goes down like once a second or so. So that's quite a significant change. So let's go ahead and we will teleport to TP. Actually, you know what? I should probably be in creative mode for this. TP cub to 0, 100, 0. And looks like it's in the ocean. Not a problem. We'll do /set block here. Stone. There we are. Alright, so there's our block. Right there at 0, 0. Let's make sure we're facing to the north this way. There we have it. And we're going to get ourselves 1 stack of rockets and a fresh Elytra. There we go. Put that on. Put this over here. Okay, so we're going to do the same test. We're going to fly due north with 1 stack of rockets. We'll see how long it takes and exactly how our average speed is, and also how much durability is left, if any, in this instance. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. And again, we're going to stay at sort of a fairly reasonable height. You know, not going to really worry about conserving rockets too much. So I'll be back once we're near the end of the flight. Okay, we got just a little bit. 16 durability. 15. We'll see. 3. Oh, that's it. All right, 11,425 before the Elytra broke. And yeah, we only used, about 53 rockets, 55 rockets. So yeah, that is how far we went. 11,425 before the Elytra gave out. We didn't run out of rockets, and we actually boosted like the last. we spent a couple of rockets to the last like 200 300 blocks. So yeah, let's go ahead and crunch the numbers, and we'll see how the two versions compare. Okay, so time for the results. So in 117, we traveled 11,425 blocks in 434 seconds, which results in a speed of 26.3 blocks per second. In contrast, in 118, we traveled much further, 22,719 blocks in 1,143 seconds, for an average speed of 19.9 blocks per second. Next up, we have the results for rocket usage. So here are the rocket efficiency results. So obviously the blocks traveled are the same. We used 9 less rockets in 117 than we did in 118. But the blocks per rocket, there's a massive difference in terms of rocket efficiency usage. 118 had 355 blocks traveled for every rocket used, and 117 had only 208. So a huge difference right there in rocket efficiency. Our final and most significant stat is the efficiency of the Elytra. We are calculating this in terms of blocks per durability usage on the Elytra. That is, how many blocks can you travel for 1 durability point decrease. So we traveled 11,425 in 117, used up the entire 432 points of durability on the Elytra, which results in a blocks per durability value of 26.5 blocks per 1 durability used up. In 118, we only used 192 durability on the Elytra, which results in a blocks per durability of 118.3. So, final results, we found that compared to 117.1, in 118, the Elytra has a 25% decrease in the speed you travel at, assuming you're flying normally and using rockets, relatively sparingly. You're not constantly boosting, right? This number would decrease further if you were constantly boosting all the time with rockets everywhere, which I assume some people do. Also could change with your angle of attack and things, but I feel like it's a good ballpark estimate for how much the speed travel decreased with the Elytra in this experimental snapshot. We also found that rocket efficiency increased by 70%, which is pretty substantial. That means you can travel 70% further per rocket used, which is a pretty significant buff to rockets in that regard, which is kind of surprising, considering in the snapshot changelog, they said, and I quote, "Rocket boosting was so fast that other means of transport were almost redundant. We want to balance it out a bit," end quote. So that was very surprising to see. And the biggest change we saw was to Elytra efficiency. There is a 350% increase in Elytra efficiency in terms of how far you travel before taking a single hit of durability with the Elytra. And the thing is, that can actually be increased quite substantially, like almost to an unlimited amount, if you use the 40-40 trick to continuously glide with the Elytra, where you can basically fly an unlimited distance without using a single rocket. So that is absolutely huge in terms of what it means for the game. And what does all this lead to? It leads to the conclusion that the Elytra is better than ever. We can travel much further on greater efficiency with the Elytra than before, with only a very minor decrease in the speed of travel. So I think this will actually result in the exact opposite of what the changelog said. Like, they wanted to balance out the transportation methods a little bit, but I think this actually will result in more people using Elytra because it's just so much better than it was before. And yeah, I don't know if that was really intended or not. But anyways, do let me know what you guys think about this change. Is it too much? Should they approach it differently? Should they buff other transportation methods, for instance, like increase the speed of the minecarts or increase the speed of horses or make them more useful somehow? Let me know what you think in the comments section below. But thank you so very much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please leave a like. Be sure to subscribe. And once again, thanks for watching, guys. This has been Cub. Goodbye.